Hi, everybody, and welcome to the 11th and probably final episode of my Dream Block series. I'm Nora from Nora Healings, and today I want to get into my favorite dream category, the lucid dreams. So, I will get into what lucid dreams are, and I will give you examples or ideas of what you can do if you're in a lucid dream. And also just ways to train yourself to remember dreams and to become lucid. So, for those who wonder what it means, lucid dreaming is when you become aware that you're in a dream. And I would say that there's a wide range or scale or spectrum of lucidity, all the way from being aware that you're in a dream, but everything still just plays out like in a movie, to knowing that you're dreaming and maybe having control over some elements to a certain extent, all the way to just full control over your whole dream environment and what happens and what you do, and just steering every single aspect of it and everything in between. And what also varies is the time span in which people can maintain lucidity. Some can stay lucid the whole time that they're dreaming, and others, like me, for example, might have moments of lucidity, but kind of lose them again. And there are ways to prolong the time span of lucidity. Like, for example, saying out loud that you want to stay lucid, or just, telling the dream to increase lucidity. And I've heard about spinning yourself in a circle really fast and demand heightened lucidity. But I've also heard that this can be used to teleport yourself. And I haven't tried that because if I become lucid and I want to teleport myself or go somewhere else, I either close my eyes, and I just know that when I open my eyes again, it's like I envision where I want to be and I'm going to be there when I open my eyes. Or I just look for the next door in my environment. And I just know that when I open this door, whatever I want and wherever I want to be is going to be on the other side of this door. And this usually works. I used to be a natural lucid dreamer as a child, but unfortunately, I almost completely lost the ability growing up. And I had phases where I was actually always lucid every time I dreamt, which actually also led to like really funny problems in my day-to-day life sometimes, honestly. Um, but the cool thing was that if I wanted to, I could wake up from a dream, and if I liked it, I could go back to the dream. Or I was even able to return to the dream from last night if I enjoyed it. And now I have short lucid moments now and then, but my goal is actually to regain the lucidity I had as a child. And I know that it's possible because I already experienced it. What fascinates me so much about lucid dreaming is just the limitless potential and just the endless possibilities of the things that you can experience and practice and learn or even heal. But also just the effect that this heightened awareness in sleep and waking life has on, my personality and just the way of seeing things. I think awareness and communication of the conscious and the subconscious mind can change the state of awareness already. But if you can become lucid in your dreams, especially if you haven't had the experience before, your state of awareness can change quite dramatically, because it just causes an expansion that I would even compare to near-death experiences or like really deep psychedelic journeys. It might change many of your views and beliefs and even the way you feel and go about your life. because it gives you like a totally different perspective and a new experience and idea of what reality could be. And yeah, here I want to share some examples or just some ideas of things that you can do when you're lucid, like besides the obvious one, like, flying or having sex with everybody. What you can do is, for example, having a conversation with your own subconscious mind just by talking and interacting with other dream characters. Or as I mentioned earlier, you can continue a dream that you enjoyed. You can like recreate this experience and continue it if you want to. Also, and that's a funny one, try dream food or astral food, because it's amazing. That's something that kind of blows my mind a little bit, because honestly, some of the best tasting things that I've had in my life were in a dream. And the last thing that I remember, and that wasn't even in a lucid dream, but it was this fruit. I dreamt about these fruits that grow on a bush, and it grew in my mom's garden, that remind me of like a crossing between blueberries and grapes, but the taste was like a very rich, sweet strawberry. And it was round, kind of this size, and the top and the bottom were a little bit blue. That's why it reminded me of like a larger blueberry, but it was actually very transparent. You could see through it, and the inside and the texture was like a grape, and it even had some like glitter inside, or what looked like glitter. And yeah, it tasted as delicious as it just looked beautiful. And yeah, it's just amazing what type of foods that I can find in the dream realms. So definitely try that. Another thing that you can do is confronting and overcoming certain fears by exposing yourself to it in this environment where you know that nothing can actually happen to you. And what's also possible is calling in and making contact with your dream guides, your spirit guides, your galactic family, your ancestors, or even with the spirits of loved ones who have passed on. Or what I also find really cool is just experiencing how it would be like to be, like, for example, a bird or a tree or a crystal, or even a planet or a galaxy, and just basically turn into something totally different than a human body, and experiencing this whole other perspective and state of being. And what's also possible is accessing other dream layers. So just watch what happens when you meditate in your dreams and you reach a higher frequency and an even more expanded state of awareness in your dream. It's kind of similar, like when you're awake, you can like meditate and experience, or it doesn't always have to be one meditation, but you can experience higher or lower density realms in your own way. But in the dream, it's just so much more physical. It's like you are there physically. Or, if you want, you can also go and visit a past life or just a parallel incarnation, maybe from another planet, or look at, different timelines. Yeah, there are so many cool things that we can do when we become lucid. But I also want to share some things that, or actually quite many things that you can do to train yourself to gain lucidity. And I would say, to begin with, or one of the easiest things would be breathing exercises, just because the breath is such an easy way to connect the conscious and the unconscious mind. And just focusing on your breath for a couple minutes a day can already have an effect. And what's really important are the reality checks. So do reality checks throughout your day as often as you can, and keep asking yourself if you are in a dream. And don't just end it there. It's like, make it a little bit more deliberate and a little bit more specific. Really test reality by, for example, you can ask yourself things like, where am I here? How did I get here? Am I actually wearing the clothes and the stuff that I put on this morning? You can look at like a screen or a text or a clock or something, and then look away and look back at it and check if it's still the same or if it has changed in a strange way. And you can also check, the time and the date and compare it, like what is the season? How is the weather? How is the temperature? Um, what smells do you notice? And does all of that together make sense? And the goal is actually to do them so regularly that it becomes a habit throughout your day, so that you will start doing them in your dreams. Because that's actually the whole magic about the reality checks, is that if it becomes a habit to test reality in your waking life, it's much more likely that you also start doing that in your dreams. And yeah, practice dream recall. I think remembering your dreams is important because you start focusing and paying attention to your dreams and your dream life, and acknowledging it and giving it some value. And if you have trouble remembering your dreams, just keep practicing and definitely write down everything in a dream journal that you do remember. A thing you can do is, when you wake up in the morning, try to not open your eyes right away. Instead, just keep them closed, because like this, it really helps to not forget what you just dreamt about a couple of moments ago. But otherwise, just pay attention to the moments during your day where a dream recall is triggered. I find that this happens quite a lot. And you might also find that you dreamt about just random things that you actually do the next day. And then sometimes maybe remember one short scene, and a couple of hours later, you remember another one, and so on. And by the end of the day, you might have like this little puzzle or a more or less patchy memory of what you dreamt about last night. But sometimes it can almost be easier to remember, at least for me, in the evening hours, when your mind isn't so occupied by all the thoughts of the things you still have to do today, and you kind of start to let go and relax, and your body relaxes, and also the melatonin level starts to rise again, and your brain waves just go back into a more comfortable alpha or maybe delta state. I find it easier to remember them in the later hours sometimes. And another thing that I find works and I like to do, and it might sound a little strange, but rewarding your brain when you do remember something. So communicating to your brain and sending it love and gratitude and showing it, letting it feel your joy about the memory that your brain presented to you. I feel like the brain likes that, and will just much more likely want to remember and present you your dream memories. And also, speaking to your subconscious self can help. Asking it to help you by please, sharing the memories with you. And you might have to assure it that you are strong and stable enough to handle it. But just be aware that this also works, for any suppressed memories. Another thing is the dream anchor. So some people like to use dream anchors to help them remember their dream and to do reality checks. So it can be used for two different things. And it can really be any object, any item that you want. And the idea is actually that, it can be like a crystal or just really whatever you want. It's helpful if it's small enough that you can easily carry it with you all day. And the idea is that you hold it and look at it every time you remember your dreams. And that should train your brain to recall dreams just by taking it out and looking at it. At least after a while. If you do that for a while, you just, every time you remember, you look at it, then it should be enough to just pick it up and look at it, and it will trigger a memory. But yeah, you can also just have it with you and use it to do your reality checks. And another things are affirmations. So, say to yourself or write down some statements like, I will lucid dream tonight. Lucid dreaming is easy for me. I am a natural lucid dreamer. I will wake up in my dream tonight. And yeah, and so on. And also daily meditation, especially before going to bed, like the half an hour or so before going to bed. Try to not expose yourself to a screen or be engaged in an intense conversation before sleep, even with yourself in your mind. And I mean, meditation is helpful for so many things, but especially with that goal, I feel like if meditating and clearing your mind is the last thing you do before going to bed, I feel like it can even improve your overall just sleep health. But especially just clearing what you're going to dream about, because whatever we expose ourselves before going to sleep, whatever we expose ourselves to before going to sleep will leave like a trace or an echo in your dreams. Pretty much like everything we experience during the day can as well, but especially the last moments before going to sleep. It's very likely that you will dream about either the movie you've just watched or to dream about whatever your last thoughts were before falling asleep. And by clearing your mind before going to sleep, we can just reduce all of that. And if you want, then you also have the space. If there is something that you want to induce in your dream, like maybe you want to look for a solution to a problem, or you can just think about what you want to experience in your dream. And there you can also, again, use affirmations if you want to. And yeah, the last, there are, I think, 2 more things that I want to share, but definitely try different methods that are known, because there are many like known, almost famous methods that can help people to gain lucidity with, like the mild, the wild, the dialed, the file techniques, and all of these. Maybe some of them can help you. I found that 2 of the known ones actually work for me. I would say the wild technique works for me. And that's basically where you maintain awareness while falling asleep. And as you start, drifting off and seeing the images, at first try to not focus too much on anything specific and remain like this unfocused gaze. But then after a while, as it starts like solidifying, you can start to change little details about whatever you see. Like if you see a landscape or a building or something, you can start to, change the windows of the building, or just change one window, or change the color of some details. And like this, you can like just stay aware and basically directly enter a lucid dream state. And the other one that works for me is the dialed. So the dream-induced lucid dream. And that's actually where you either do a reality check in your dream and you come to realize that you're in a dream like this, or you just wake up in your dream and realize that you're dreaming. That's something that happens sometimes for me. And the other ones, what did I say? Mild? I think the mild technique is when you set an alarm to wake up after 5 hours or so, and then you get up and do some things for a short time, like 30 minutes or so, and then you go back to sleep with the intention in your mind that you will lucid dream. And I think the reason why that works is because we have longer so-called REM phases in the later hours, or like in the early morning hours, however you want to look at it. And so it's much more likely that when you fall asleep, you go right into a REM state. And if you can hold that thought and that intention that you are entering a lucid dream, then maybe, it's probable that it will happen. It didn't really happen for me. And the other one is the filed. It's the finger-induced lucid dreaming. And this is where you use like a very subtle movement of these two fingers, and you just move them very slightly. And actually, you don't even have to move them physically. So it can be very, very subtle to the point where you just feel like you are doing this movement, but you're not actually doing it physically. And I think the idea is that you also kind of can stay aware while falling asleep, and having this help of, sort of a physical sensation. But I have to say, it doesn't work for me, but I mean, many people say that it's a good one, so I thought I'm going to mention it. And yeah, I think the last thing that I want to mention that also helps definitely is just to read books, watch movies, and just consume content that are about dreaming and lucid dreaming, because I guess the more you think about it, and just the more you deal with it, and the more the topic is like present in your life, then it's also going to be more present in your dream life, because it kind of becomes a habit. Yeah, I hope that some of that was helpful. There is so much that I could say about lucid dreams, but if you want to get into all the scientific stuff, then there's already more than enough content out there. To me, it's not a question if it's real or not, because there is more than enough scientific proof. And I believe that's something that, if you haven't experienced it, it's probably hard to believe. But if you have experienced it, it's like, yeah, of course it's real. It's not something you doubt if you know. But yeah, please let me know if you are a lucid dreamer, or if you're someone who would like to learn it, or if you know like other methods how you can train yourself to become lucid. I love trying new things. And yeah, please also share if you've tried certain methods or certain things, and tell me what led to success for you. And as always, reach out with any questions or comments, or if you'd like to know more, if you want, I can talk about potential dangers of lucid dreaming, if you want to. And yeah, I guess otherwise that was it for today's episode. And yeah, I think maybe probably for the Dream Block series, I think that, I have mentioned and shared pretty much everything that I wanted to share about the topic. And yeah, thanks to all of you who have been on this weird little journey with me. And special thanks to those who have supported me by, liking and subscribing and all the good stuff. I really appreciate you. And, someday I might upload something else on my channel. I don't know yet. We'll see. So, yeah, take care, stay well, and sweet dreams.